Welcome to Berlin, straight from the heart of GITEX AI. The European tech scene is evolving faster than ever, but what does it really take for an AI startup to catch an investor's eye? We caught up with Clemente Francavilla from Plug and Play's Ventures and Investments team. From common founder mistakes and the booming Balkan tech ecosystem to the single most important skill in the age of AI. Here is what he had to say.
So as a brief introduction about myself, I'm Clemente Francavilla. I'm part of the Ventures and Investments team at Plug and Play. Joined Plug and Play 4.5 years ago. Before that, I was in another fund in Italy for 2 years, and before that in the US for another American fund. Since I joined Plug and Play, I covered quite a few different regions. I started working and focusing on the Turkish region, Poland, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Russia, and Ukraine. And then about 2.5 years ago, Tuma and Caroline, who are two managing directors of Plug and Play EMEA, asked me to join the investment committee team. So since then, I've been covering the EMEA region as a whole. More recently, I've been focusing on the Western Balkans and the Caucasus area. When it comes to AI startups or AI-based companies, investors usually want to see more than we use AI. We want to see traction, we want to see a need in the market, and we want to see solutions that, based on AI, solve an actual need. So we want it to see, and we want to see the use cases already. So I want to see users, traction, and so on. I think the most common mistakes that founders do when pitching to investors is pitching a product rather than a business. I think something else that sometimes I hear in pitches is when founders underestimate the competition. Obviously, we know that lots of markets are saturated, so a lot of the solutions that I hear, there's already some others in the market, and it's nice when they're acknowledged. It's acknowledged what they're doing well, but how the specific founder is trying to his edge and the edge of his company is. So that's what I think they should do, and that's what I think they're kind of missing when they do the mistakes. I think over the next 5 years, some industries that will have an impact on AI are definitely health tech, probably ed tech. Also, fintech is gonna keep on being updated with AI and see innovation, but also cybersecurity. These are all industries that will manage to cut a lot of costs if using AI correctly. Central Eastern European companies and Southern European companies have a lot of potential. I think that there's some really good tech talent that is willing, is eager, and is hungry to do well. But also, most importantly, I see governments doing a lot of things to incentivize the local market. So I've been talking to many governments, whether it's in Albania, in Serbia. Right now I was talking to a delegation from Bosnia, and the initiatives that the governments are doing to nourish the local markets and the local ecosystem and encourage people to become founders are just great, and I'm seeing more and more of them in the CE region. So I think the reason why there's not many unicorns yet in the region is because it's very new. I mean, I've seen innovation and we've entered the Balkan region in the past 2 years, and even just in these 2 years we're seeing companies growing extremely quickly. We're seeing the ecosystem flourish. So I think it's still too early to have some proper unicorns. There are some unicorns from diaspora, but not unicorns based in these countries. And I think the reason why it's like this is because founders, once they grow, right now they don't have an ecosystem that can support them. So once they grow up to a certain level, they try to move. So they establish their company in the US or maybe in Europe, where it's easier to access funds, and it's also easier in terms of local ecosystem. So I think that's why we are not seeing any unicorns yet, but hopefully very soon. I think the advice would be find a problem and do a solution. there's many nice to haves, but they're not really solutions for an existing problem, or at least not a big enough problem to have a need of such solutions. I think another advice that I could give to founders is to don't look for perfection. Find product market fit first and test the product, launch it, get traction, see if there's actually a need for your solution in the market, see if there's users willing to use it or even willing to pay, and then start and improving the product. But if you're looking for perfection and you spend time developing and working on the product before launching, the moment you launch might be too late. And maybe there's other solutions in the market, or maybe you've spent a year and a half working on the product and there's just not the market. So there's no product market fit. And that's where 80% of the companies fail. So I think I would just not look for perfection, but rather market fit. So I think the most important skills in the age of AI for people, I think there's one, and it's adaptability. Being able to adapt with time and adapt with the new solutions. And we're seeing solutions coming up here and there that maybe are doing the same thing that you are doing, maybe even better with AI, so with lower costs. So you need to be able to adapt very quickly. And yeah, I mean, I'm also seeing so many companies that maybe back in January, they were very relevant, and right now they're already obsolete. Because, you know, people can just vibe code it in 3 hours, something that maybe took that specific founder 1 year to work on. So I think adaptability is the most important skill.